Most people receive nearly the same advice from almost every direction after the age of 60. Stay active. Keep moving. Go for a daily walk. And this advice is given with the best intentions. It comes from doctors, from physical therapists, from well-meaning family members, and from decades of public health messaging. The problem is not that the advice is wrong. The problem is that the advice is incomplete. And this gap between what people are told and what their bodies actually need is quietly causing millions of older adults to lose something they cannot regain: their strength, their balance, and eventually, their independence. Here is the clinical truth that most people are not told directly. Walking is a maintenance activity. It preserves what you have to a certain extent. It supports your heart. It prevents your joints from becoming completely inactive. But walking does not create the mechanical stimulus your muscles need to resist age-related loss. It does not produce the tension that tells your bones to maintain their density. It does not train the stabilizer muscles of the hip, pelvis, and ankle, the muscles that determine whether a stumble remains a stumble or turns into a fall. And it does not challenge the proprioceptive system, the internal network of position awareness your nervous system uses to make instant balance corrections. In 2021, researchers at the University of Copenhagen published the findings of a multi-year observational study on adults between the ages of 65 and 80 who mostly met standard physical activity recommendations through daily walking. What they found was this: despite maintaining regular activity levels, a significant portion of participants continued to show measurable declines in lower extremity muscle strength, hip stability, and single-leg balance performance over the course of the study. The conclusion was not that walking is harmful. The conclusion was that walking alone is structurally insufficient to develop the specific muscle systems most responsible for preventing falls and maintaining functional independence in older adults. This is not a marginal opinion. It is a finding increasingly reflected in orthopedic and geriatric literature, and it has practical implications for every individual over the age of 60. For anyone who believes that staying active through general movement alone is enough to preserve long-term mobility. Once you understand which systems are declining and why general activity does not improve them, the solution becomes extremely clear and extremely accessible. No gym required. No equipment beyond what you already have at home. No pushing through pain. Just 5 movements performed a few days a week that directly target the 5 biological systems most responsible for falls, muscle loss, and the gradual loss of physical independence after 60. Today, we will cover all 5 of them. Each one targets a different system. Each has a specific clinical rationale. And the final movement we reach will bring everything together in a way nothing else can. Before we continue, I want to ask you something. Write your age and where you are watching from in the comments. We read every comment and respond to all of them. Your experience with these movements matters, and the community forming around this channel is one of the things that makes this meaningful. Now let's begin. Exercise 5: Doorframe calf raise. I want to start here because this is the movement almost everyone immediately underestimates. It looks too small. It looks too easy, and that is why it gets skipped. But from a clinical perspective, skipping this movement means completely neglecting one of the most important balance systems in the body. The muscles we are targeting here are the gastrocnemius and soleus, the 2 primary calf muscles, along with the smaller stabilizer muscles surrounding the ankle joint. Together, these muscles perform a task most people never consciously think about. They make the constant, small, automatic adjustments that keep you upright on any surface that is not perfectly flat and predictable. When you step off a slightly uneven curb, these muscles activate before you are even aware of what is happening. When you shift your weight while standing in the kitchen, they correct you. If the ground is slightly slippery or uneven, these are the first muscles to respond. And after the age of 60, without targeted training, the reaction speed of these muscles slows down, their strength decreases, and the difference between a stumble and a fall becomes significantly smaller. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity examined a 14-week ankle and calf strengthening program in individuals over the age of 65. By the end of the study, participants showed a 31% improvement in reactive balance performance and a statistically significant reduction in fall risk indicators measured in a laboratory setting. Researchers specifically noted that ankle stabilizers reduced fall risk independently of hip and quadriceps strength, To perform this movement safely, stand in a door frame or in front of a solid wall. Place both hands lightly on the surface at waist level. Your feet should be hip-width apart, toes facing forward. Before starting, feel the full contact of your feet with the ground. This awareness is also part of the training. Now slowly rise onto your toes. Take a full 4 seconds to reach the top. Do not rush. Hold at the top for 2 seconds. Feel the contraction in your calves and ankles. Then lower yourself down in a controlled manner over 4 seconds. Perform 8 repetitions. 1 set. Rest for 60 seconds. Then do 1 more set. This is your starting point. Progression is not about increasing repetitions quickly. It is about improving the quality of the movement. First, increase the lowering phase to 5 seconds, then 6. Over time, you can perform it with support from only one hand instead of two. That you might wonder why this exercise is number 5 in the sequence. Because it targets the very first point where balance loss begins. Exercise 4. Side-lying hip raise. Now, we move to a muscle group that is almost always weak in individuals over 60. The gluteus medius. This muscle is located on the outer part of the pelvis and stabilizes the body during every step. Each time you take a step, your body briefly balances on one leg. At that moment, the gluteus medius prevents the pelvis from dropping. If it works well, movement is stable. If it is weak, the pelvis drops, the spine compensates, the knee is strained, and balance is disrupted. A study published in Clinical Biomechanics in 2020 showed that individuals with weakness in this muscle experienced 3 times more pelvic drop during walking. To perform the movement, lie on your side. The bottom leg is slightly bent. The top leg is straight. Lift your top leg directly upward. Raise it in 2 to 3 seconds. Hold briefly. Then lower it in 3 to 4 seconds. Perform 8 repetitions, then switch sides. Exercise 3. Slow sit to stand without arms. This exercise is the clearest indicator of real lower body strength. Most people over the age of 60 use their hands when getting up from a chair. This is not just a habit, it is a sign of muscle weakness. Research shows that this movement is directly linked to independence. The movement. Sit on a chair. Feet flat on the ground. Without using your hands. Lean slightly forward and push through your heels to stand up. Take 3 seconds to stand and 4 seconds to sit back down. Start with 6 repetitions. Exercise 2. Wall balance. Hold balance is not a single muscle. The eyes, inner ear, feet, and brain all work together. This system becomes less sensitive after the age of 60. The movement. Stand close to a wall. Shift 70% of your weight onto one foot. Hold for 15 seconds, then switch sides. Exercise 1. Unsupported single leg stand. This is the most important movement because it trains all systems at the same time. Research shows that those who cannot stand on one leg for 10 seconds have a 2.6 times higher risk of falling. The movement. Stand near a support surface. Shift your weight onto one foot. Lift the other foot. Hold for 10 seconds, then switch sides. In conclusion, the doorframe calf raise restores ankle stability. The side hip raise improves pelvic control. The sit-to-stand increases lower body strength. The wall balance exercise improves coordination. The single leg stand integrates all of them. 0.5 exercises. 15 to 20 minutes. 3 to 4 days per week. Walking provides movement. But these exercises give your body the signal it needs to stay strong, balanced, and independent. Where you start is up to you. But the most important thing is to start. These 5 wall-based movements work on what simple walking often misses. They build strength with intention, improve control, and support everyday function. Just 15 minutes a day, a few times a week, no gym, no equipment required. Start gently and build over time. If you could start with only one of these exercises, which would you pick? Share your answer below. And if you find this helpful, don't forget to follow for more practical, expert-backed tips to stay strong and independent. It's not too late. Your body can still adapt, and change is always possible.